6355. The holder of a pilot or instructor certificate who fails to notify the FAA Airman Certification Branch in writing a mailing address may exercise of that certificate for how many days after change? A. 30. B. 60. C. 90. The correct answer is A. If a holder of a pilot or instructor certificate fails to notify the FAA Airman Certification Branch in writing of a change in their mailing address, they may exercise the privileges of that certificate for up to 30 days after the change. It is crucial for pilots and instructors to keep their contact information up to date with the FAA Airman Certification Branch. This includes providing their current mailing address. However, in cases where a certificate holder fails to notify the FAA in writing about a change in their mailing address, they are still allowed to continue exercising the privileges of their pilot or instructor certificate for a limited period of time. The correct option states that the certificate holder has a grace period of 30 days after the change in address. During this time, they can still operate as a pilot or exercise their privileges as an instructor. However, it is important to note that beyond this 30-day period, it becomes necessary to inform the FAA Airman Certification Branch of the updated mailing address. Maintaining accurate and current mailing address information is crucial for effective communication between the FAA and certificate holders. It ensures that important documents, certificates, and regulatory updates are delivered promptly and efficiently. Therefore, certificate holders should promptly notify the FAA Airman Certification Branch of any changes to their mailing address to comply with regulatory requirements and maintain the validity of their certificates. 6356. When a permanent change of address occurs, pilot or instructor privileges may not be exercised unless the FAA Airman Certification Branch is notified in writing within A. 30 days, B. 60 days, C. 90 days. The correct answer is A. In the event of a permanent change of address, pilot or instructor privileges may not be exercised unless the FAA Airman Certification Branch is notified in writing within 30 days. When a pilot or instructor undergoes a permanent change of address, it is essential to inform the FAA Airman Certification Branch in a timely manner. The correct option states that notification must be provided within 30 days. Notifying the FAA Airman Certification Branch about a permanent change of address is crucial for maintaining accurate records and ensuring effective communication between the certificate holder and the regulatory authority. By promptly notifying the FAA in writing, the certificate holder ensures that their pilot or instructor privileges remain valid and in compliance with regulatory requirements. Exercising pilot or instructor privileges without notifying the FAA Airman Certification Branch of a permanent change of address is not permissible. It is the responsibility of the certificate holder to take the necessary steps to update their contact information and ensure that the FAA has the correct mailing address on file. Failure to notify the FAA within the specified time frame may result in administrative complications, delays in receiving important documents or updates, and potential noncompliance with regulatory requirements. Therefore, it is crucial for pilots and instructors to adhere to the 30-day notification requirement to maintain the validity of their certificates and continue exercising their privileges. 6358. A private pilot with an airplane's single-engine land rating may as pilot in command of an airplane towing within the preceding 24 months. This pilot has made A. 10 actual or simulated glider tows. B. 3 flights as pilot in command of a glider towed by an aircraft. C. At least 6 flights as pilot in command of an airplane towing a glider within the preceding 6 months. The correct answer is B. For a private pilot with an airplane's single-engine land rating to act as pilot in command of an airplane towing a glider, they must have completed at least 3 flights as pilot in command of a glider towed by an aircraft within the preceding 24 months. A private pilot with an airplane's single-engine land rating has certain privileges and limitations. One such limitation is the requirement to have specific experience and qualifications to operate as pilot in command of an airplane involved in towing gliders. To meet the regulatory requirements, the correct option states that the pilot must have completed a minimum of 3 flights as pilot in command of a glider towed by an aircraft within the preceding 24 months. These flights can be actual flights involving the towing of gliders or simulated flights specifically designed to provide the necessary experience in glider towing operations. The purpose of this requirement is to ensure that the pilot possesses the necessary skills, knowledge, and experience to safely and effectively conduct glider towing operations. Towing gliders involves unique considerations and techniques, such as managing the tow line, coordinating with the glider pilot, and understanding the aerodynamics and limitations of the combined aircraft configuration. By completing the specified number of flights as pilot in command of a glider towed by an aircraft, the pilot demonstrates their proficiency and familiarity with the procedures and challenges associated with glider towing operations. This requirement helps maintain safety standards and ensures that pilots engaging in glider towing possess the necessary qualifications for this specialized type of flight activity. 6329-2. To act as pilot in command of a glider using aerotow, a person must have a. Received 5 hours of ground and flight training on aerotow procedures and operations in a glider and completed a practical test. B. Received ground and flight training on aerotow procedures and operations in a glider and received an endorsement from an authorized instructor certifying proficiency. C. Made 3 solo takeoffs in a glider of the same make and model using aerotow procedures, and received an endorsement from an authorized instructor certifying proficiency in the procedures. The correct answer is B. To act as pilot in command of a glider using aerotow, a person must have received both ground and flight training on aerotow procedures and operations in a glider, and obtained an endorsement from an authorized instructor certifying their proficiency. When it comes to operating a glider using aerotow, specific knowledge and skills are necessary to ensure safe and proficient operation. The correct option highlights the requirements that must be met to act as pilot in command in such a scenario. Firstly, the person must undergo comprehensive ground and flight training on aerotow procedures and operations specific to gliders. This training covers the theoretical and practical aspects of aerotowing, including understanding the procedures, communication protocols, safety considerations, and aerodynamic factors related to glider aerotow operations. Additionally, after completing the training, the person must obtain an endorsement from an authorized instructor. This endorsement serves as a certification of the person's proficiency in aerotow procedures and operations. It signifies that the individual has demonstrated the necessary knowledge, skills, and understanding of the procedures to safely act as pilot in command of a glider using aerotow. The endorsement is an important validation of the person's capabilities and ensures that they are adequately prepared to handle the specific challenges and responsibilities associated with aerotowing gliders. It signifies that the person has met the required standards and possesses the necessary competence to conduct glider aerotow operations in a safe and proficient manner. By fulfilling these requirements, individuals can confidently assume the role of pilot in command in glider aerotow scenarios, knowing that they have received the appropriate training and validation from an authorized instructor. 6406. If an in-flight emergency requires immediate action, a pilot in command may a. Deviate from FARS to the extent required to meet that emergency. B. Not deviate from FARS unless permission obtained from air traffic control. C. Deviate from FARS to the extent required to meet the emergency, but must submit a written report to the administrator within 24 hours. The correct answer is A. In the event of an in-flight emergency that necessitates immediate action, a pilot in command is permitted to deviate from federal aviation regulations, FARS, to the extent necessary to address and resolve the emergency. When faced with an in-flight emergency, The safety of the aircraft and its occupants is of paramount importance. The correct option acknowledges that the pilot in command has the authority to deviate from the established FARS if it is essential to respond to the emergency promptly and effectively. This deviation allows the pilot in command to take immediate action without being bound by specific regulations that might otherwise hinder their ability to handle the emergency appropriately. By being able to make necessary adjustments and take immediate measures, the pilot in command can prioritize the safety and well-being of everyone on board the aircraft. It is crucial to note that this deviation from FARS is permissible only in cases where there is a genuine emergency requiring immediate action. The pilot in command must exercise their judgment and apply their training and expertise to assess the situation accurately. While the pilot in command has the authority to deviate from FARS in an emergency, they are still responsible for taking all reasonable measures to minimize the deviation and return to compliance with the regulations as soon as the emergency situation permits. Overall, the option emphasizes the importance of prioritizing safety in emergency situations and grants the pilot in command the flexibility to deviate from FARS as necessary to address the emergency effectively.